Both front.
Woo!
How about that one?
That's our new leaders right there.
Big Stewie!
University of Montevallo, 24-96.
The University of Montevallo wins its third straight title.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into a new episode of the Rapala We Are Collegiate Bass podcast. This one here, big show, big landmark, monumental moment for us, 200th episode. In honor of the 200th episode, we'll have a special guest with us today, Dustin Connell, MLF angler, winner of the most recent Red Crest. Lots of big accolades throughout his career so far. Dustin, just right off, let's talk real quick about the recent success, the most recent tournament that you won, getting your second Red Crest title in your career. To be able to do that here at the start of 24, pretty awesome to kick off the season.
Yeah, Kyle, I appreciate you having me, and it's been a great season so far. It's just April now, and yeah, we got it done at Lake, and that was an amazing week on one of my lakes that I grew up fishing.
What's it like to be able to do something like that? We always ask the kids, based on their college location and events. We just had Carson Newman was at Douglas Lake, and we have Arkansas Tech when we travel to Russellville. It's near Lake Dardanelle. To be able to go out on a fishery like that you're very familiar with and have some pressure with, there's expectations when you step foot out there that, why wouldn't you win? What's it like to be able to have that to carry around, but also then to come out and claim the victory and take advantage of maybe some local knowledge that you did have?
When they announced Lake, it was, last year during the tournament meeting at Norman for Red Crest, so exactly almost a year ago, and I had no clue they were going to come there, and I was like, oh, wow. And I looked around, I was like, that is the perfect time of year, and I was like, man, and in March, the Coosa River, I love catching spotted bass. I grew up doing that, and it's just there's a lot of pressure coming into your home lake. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I felt that weighing on me hard a week or two before, and every day, every minute, you're sitting there, and it's just in the back of your mind. You're like, gosh, oh, and like it was a lot more added pressure than any other normal tournament because you do have high expectations. You do know the lake, and you're like, don't mess this up. Please don't. So I went into that tournament just trying to fish brand new. Do what the fish are telling you. Don't fish off history. And the first day of practice, it was really hard to do that because you run past somewhere and there's fish there. You caught them in the past. And it's like, all right, none of that was working. I scrapped it and fished Lake like I would brand new.
Yeah, we see it every year. We go to Pickwick as well. Kind of each of the major stops for us on the Bass Pro Shops Collegiate Bass Fishing Series have schools close by, and you see those guys, and it's always a question you want to ask, whether it's coming off the stage or previewing or recapping an event on the podcast here, and that you always hear it. Some of them can handle the pressure, some of them can't. Being able to do it on one of the biggest stages in all professional bass fishing, definitely a major accomplishment for you. Something interesting that listeners may not know about yourself, you competed in college fishing a little over 10, 15 years ago now. You were at the University of Alabama. We'll talk about that here in just a second, but just to kind of, for yourself, prospectively, to look back at your career and what's led up to the moments to be able to win a major event like this. What's that like to be able to sit back, know you've done this several times now, won the biggest event that you've been able to compete in, and everything that's led up to that has helped you to be prepared for these moments? Man,
God, it just kind of hit me a reminder when you said 10, 15 years ago. I'm like, golly, I'm getting old. So I did. I went to University of Alabama. I fished there from 2009 to 2012. I graduated with a marketing degree. And initially, when I graduated high school, I had to make a pick. I really love baseball, and then I was like, fishing is what I want to do. It's always been a passion. That's all I cared about, and that's all I slept and dreamed about fishing professional. And I said, you know what? I want to go fish college. That was right whenever it really started popping off big. And I got there, and college fishing for me gave me a ton of opportunities. And what I mean is I fished at Okeechobee. I fished at Lake Dardanelle like several times. And I think I fished every lake in Arkansas, in the college bass stuff. And then we did all the FLW stuff. We went down to Lake Louisville. So that gained me experience on a lot of different bodies of water that I wouldn't have never got. So that, and then the experience of launching your boat against 200 other guys, you don't see that in local tournaments. You don't get that pressure, the TV experience, the camera experience, and it just kind of seasons you. So all of that really, really helped me my whole fishing career. Because right when I got out of college, it was like, hey, I've seen all this before, so that was a big deal to me, going to college and fishing.
Yeah, you see it. I'm kind of relatively the same age as you, and I was in college about the same time. And back then, it was cool when 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 guys showed up fishing lower level stuff in the Opens or what's now the Toyotas and different series like that. And then when one made it to a professional circuit, it was really cool, right? Like to be able to do it soon, quick, make that big jump like some of the guys did. Now you're competing against anglers that are 10, 15 years younger than you are. And 6 months ago, they were sitting in a speech class in Kentucky talking to students about a presentation that their instructor gave them. And now they're out here going toe to toe with you at, say, Toledo Bend. How crazy is that to see that transition from the last 10 or 15 years, where before guys like yourself did it, no one was really making the move from college to pro. And now it's almost just an immediate transition where, whether it's electronics, like you said, being able to go across the country and know all these lakes before they ever make the move to the pros, what can you kind of attribute to, and have you seen in these anglers' maturation process to, at age 20, 21, 22, they're right there with you guys cast for cast?
I've noticed a really big thing that's happened the last, ever since I was in college. Dude, the learning curve has gotten so fast. When I tell you, like, fast. So my learning curve, this is how I kind of grew up learning. I picked up a spinning rod. That was what I learned fishing with, and I threw a shaky head. And then, like, everybody started throwing a shaky head. And then you transition to another bait, and then you kind of learn it, and then you learn from there. Well, that was when I was, like, 15, 14 years old. I started throwing a shaky head and all that. So, but now there's 7th grade kids and 6th graders in high school and middle school. They've got a ounce and a half flipping weight on. They've got a Demiki on. They know how to read electronics. They know everything about a jerkbait there is to know. They're throwing it on 12-pound line. They can tie FG knots just like us. So it's like, wow. And then they, a lot of them high school kids, they're well versed in electronics and everything. And by the time they turn 21, 22, they've had 5 years of driving and practicing and getting in these bigger tournaments. They fish BFLs. They're experienced when they graduate. Like, they're there. So you see guys like Drew Gill and some of these other, newer college guys, they're really impressive.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch, too. I've been here for almost 7 years now, and just in that time is when the electronics have really evolved. You might have had a couple, different innovations that were changing, but the game really changed in the last 4 or 5 years, and you're seeing those anglers, like you said. For us, whether it was going from college to pro and being ready, or even now as they're coming in as freshmen from high school, there's really no drop-off in their understanding of what they've got going on and off the water. We're talking with Dustin Connell, professional angler, winner of the most recent Red Crest that took place just last month. Part of your success here recently, whether it's given time of the year, the fisheries that you're on, how you're targeting them, using soft plastic. Something new that Rapala introduced last year was the Crush City lineup. Included in that's the Ned BLT, the Cleanup Crawl, the Bronco Bug, the Freeloader, and the Mare. Just real quick, kind of hit on maybe a couple of your favorites in that lineup and how they've helped you out, and we'll get into some more specifics after this response.
I'll kind of tie this kind of back to Jacob. Okay, so me and Jacob Wheeler, I've roomed with him for, going on 6 years now. He's one of my best friends, and he's the number one angler in the world. So Jacob kind of hinted around like, hey, like a couple years ago, year and a half ago, or whatever, it was a while back, but he said, hey, man, I'm coming out with these soft plastics. And he had tons of prototypes. He'd have like 5 different prototypes of baits. And he's got a pool behind his house, and like he's constantly testing all this stuff. He wants it perfect. He wants to see the bait act right. And I would see prototype photos and all that stuff. And seeing it progress from that to what the final product was really cool. And being able to join that team was a huge opportunity for me, and just, it just fit like a glove, man. I mean, like me and Jacob, we're always tinkering with tackle, trying to figure out the little small details. And now seeing where it came from to now, I won Toledo Bend on the Mooch Minnow bait. I know that's not out right now, but that's got to be my favorite so far, because we just won Red Crest on that bait too. But from the existing baits that are out, the freeloader, of course, I think that's the hottest bait in the country. I mean, without a doubt. I mean, it's hard to even find one. I mean, I don't have many packs myself. But the freeloader, of course, is so versatile. You can throw a spinnerbait on it, chatterbait. You can tight line it. You can, any way you want to fish that bait. That's what's cool. And then probably my other favorite is the clit up crawl, because I'll throw it behind a jig. I'll flip with it. I mean, you can throw it on a Carolina rig and drag it around. It's just a cool bait. So them are my 2 favorites.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about a couple in that lineup. One of the things that we're seeing now in the industry and for fishing baits and innovation is being able to adapt to the significance of the forward-facing sonar, and then having baits that are suited for that. And that's what the couple of those that you mentioned that you've had success on so far already this season have occurred, that you're using them. And when you talk about Jacob being able to look at these baits in his pool and get him to do the most perfect thing, something that's probably going to happen now with the pressure that's going to occur. Initially, forward-facing sonar, we're targeting fish that have never been targeted. Now they're going to get targeted. You want that bait to be the most lifelike, real-looking lure that you can present in front of those fish. Do you feel like in those that you're mentioning that that's something that's helping to play a factor for you to get 2 wins to start the season and just catch a lot of fish out there where other people might be getting bites, but not at the same rate that you are?
I've actually seen the percentages of like catching fish on certain baits, and I've just watched it the way it happens, and I have spent a ton of time, and I mean, when I mean a ton, that old saying, like you spend 10,000 hours doing something to perfect it. I literally feel like I spent so much time learning forward-facing sonar over the past few years, and it has been very great, a tool for me, and it's definitely helped me out catch a ton more fish. But I've learned a lot of what these fish want: the position of the bait, the angle at which the bait falls in on them, how to pendulum it over the fish, and this goes as well for a jerkbait fish. I ended up winning the 21 Red Crest on a jerkbait. And just learning then how they react to baits and how they set up and how much these fish swim, I've learned a ton about bass that I did not know. But going back to the bait process, yes. So I've seen where I'll change baits up. I'll throw that freeloader like at Toledo. I was throwing that freeloader when I was in that dingier water. It's a lot bigger profile, and it just has a drawing power, and I would put like an albino shad color on there, and it would draw them from a long ways, and they could see it. And if the water was a lot cleaner, I went to the Mooch Minnow. So I've got both of them baits rigged up at all times for any watercolor. I've caught them in chocolate milk mud on that thing. It's crazy. And that's how I won Toledo. I was fishing dirty water, man, like mud almost, and they were in that stuff. And that ain't typically how we thought. We thought they would just eat a spinnerbait. But, those baits, they definitely get a lot of bites. So Mooch Minnow, that's coming soon. It is phenomenal how good it looks.
along with Rapala and Crush City, you're supported by a lot of other great brands in the industry, a couple of those being Bass Pro Shops and Triton Boats, both partners here with the Bass Pro Shops Collegiate Bass Fishing Series. Let's talk about the boat real quick out there on the series this year. What are you running? What kind of features are built into that boat that you like that make things more comfortable, more suited for you to have success while you're out there on the water?
Yeah, this year I'm running the 21 XP from Triton. Last year I ran the 20 XP, and I was actually there in the first boat. I ran that boat during testing, and I was on, I think we were on Lake of the Ozarks. But I went up there, I ran that boat. I was like, oh, this is awesome. We need to change this. We changed that. And we tinkered and got everything perfect. And that 20 was amazing, but this 21, it's awesome. And that boat is laid out perfectly. Everything about it, I love. I love the speed of it. I love the comfort of it. I love having a 21-foot boat. I can fit more stuff in there. My boat is junked out, and I got way too much stuff in there, but I got room to do it, So, but I love, it's fun. It's a fun boat to drive. I mean, it honestly is. Like, I love running around in that boat. But this is like I said, this is the first year for the 21, and we've already got 2 tournament wins out of it, and it's my lucky boat. I don't want to let it go. I don't want to keep it forever.
Yeah, you bet, man. It's hard to part with things that bring you a lot of success. I don't know how a lot of the pro anglers are going through boats every year. I'm superstitious enough that if I've got something that's working, I don't know that I'd want to change it that often. But that's what you got to do. Let's talk some more just about the support. You can talk about Bass Pro Shops directly, and then anything else from there. But being able to go out and do what you guys do for full-time living, being able to go out and compete, obviously success is a large part of it. We talk to the anglers here a lot, and we ask the pros when we have them on, catching fish is a large part of what it takes to be a professional angler, but it's not the whole piece of the pie. Having the support behind you representing your series partners and brands, that's a whole nother element to this on the business side that plays a factor in your longevity out there on tour. Having brands like Bass Pro Shops behind you, what does that mean for yourself out there as kind of a young to middle of the age range angler now to be able to have that support and keep doing what you do on a regular basis?
I've started to realize that what you said, I've always dreamed of becoming a professional angler, and I'm super blessed to do what I do. And I love fishing, and I do it as much as I can, but I also realize that, the business side of things, being a pro angler is huge. And seeing, like Bass Pro Shop, for example, I'm a partner with them. They support me on and off the water. Like, I literally can call them in any time. I talked to Johnny after I won Red Crest, and he just called me and was like, hey, just want to tell you congratulations and wish you the best with your newborn baby coming soon. And like, when I tell you as genuine as I can say it, I was like, oh man, this is amazing. So them supporting you, being behind you, backing you, even when you lose, because you're going to lose a lot more than you win. So that means a lot to me. But I never knew how instrumental a lot of these companies and brands are to the success of the industry as a whole. You see the Bass Pro Tour. It's literally called the Bass Pro Tour. You see the title sponsor for the Classic, the title sponsor for the Red Crest, Bass Pro with the Collegiate Series. That is a huge factor that keeps all the wheels turning in what we do. And I've noticed that, and I'm like, God, man, that's an iconic thing to be part of. So same way with Rapala, same way with Triton. I have some of the best partners in the world.
I'm going to close with a couple questions, kind of tying back that part of the conversation to any college anglers that might be listening. Yourself, you went to school, I believe you said, for marketing. Having that business side, the savvy from that degree paired with what we're doing, we hear a lot of kids doing that now. Seems like if I talk to 10, 6 or 8 of them are in the business college. So others are, they're in engineering and they are dedicated to their books. They fish on the side, but they're going to have that disposable income from the profession to go fishing. But those who really want to push this on forward, going the business route or maybe even the communications route and having, the skills to do digital media and stuff like that's really important. But looking back now is we're 15 years removed from being in school and you have that degree paired with the knowledge you have now. Kind of talk a little bit about maybe some pointers you would give kids that are looking as freshmen, sophomores, trying to figure out what it is they want to do. If going professional is the focus, or even entering the industry, that same degree could have gotten you into the industry without the success on the water. What are maybe some advice or pointers you would give them to, hey, when you're in class doing this, that stuff could pay off to keep you in the fishing world down the road?
I always tell every college guy and even high school guys, they're number one, there isn't just a secret to the whole deal. There isn't a secret. It's time on the water, and it's just working hard at whatever you do. And when I tell you work hard, I mean sleepless nights. You're committed to your craft, and that's fishing or whatever it is. And you fully commit into that. There is no turning back. And when you do that, you intrinsically make moves that you don't see it at the time, but you're getting out there fishing and it's freezing cold and it's 38 degrees and you're like, why am I out here? Because you are motivated. You know what I mean? And you're driven. So, but to have a plan also, you need to have a plan. It's not going to fall in your lap. Nothing is. You're not going to wake up one day and just like, oh man, I'm a pro fisherman. Have a plan out of college. Say, all right, I'm going to go this route. I'm going to use my finances this way, and just make a plan and stick to that plan and make one milestone, make one goal, go to the next goal. I always set goals. So I have a 1-year goal and a 5-year goal, and I do that with my wife too. So right out of college, I had a 1-year goal. I want to get enough money to make the opens. Well, I made that, and then I said, I'm going to fish the opens and qualify. And before you know it, it's going to fly by and you'll be winning a red crest. So work hard. There's no substitution to it.
Yeah, it's funny how things kind of work out how they're supposed to work out, whether it's winning a tournament that gives you the money to have a stepping stone to go towards the next one, and that next one leads you to the level that you want to be at. Or myself, I started out in college in engineering, did it for 2 semesters, realized it wasn't for me, switched to broadcast journalism, thought that, ESPN was the goal, and long story short, 10, 12 years later, here I am. I'm editing TV shows, doing the podcast, writing articles, hosting tournaments. Everything that I enjoyed in college paired with my degree is what I've turned into a profession now. So you never know.
No doubt.
You never know what way that path's going to lead you.
Hey, quick funny story before we go. I was in engineering, okay? And don't let me turn anybody that's listening away from engineering. But I was in engineering in college. And I remember this. I went 2 semesters, and then when I got into my actual core classes, the first one that I had was a coding class, like writing codes, and it was electrical engineering class. I had a big tournament on Saturday, so I dipped out on Friday to go fish it. I forgot I had a test on that Monday, and I went in there, and when I tell you I think I made a 0, I had no clue. I forgot we had a test. That moment is when I said, I can't do this engineering no more. If they have tests on Monday and I know I'm fishing on Saturday and I can't study, it's game over for me.
I was the same way.
I changed my major, and here we are.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I was in physics reading the sports page, and I'm like, I got to do something different. That was kind of my watershed moment of, hey, pal, it's probably time to go find a different route to go.
Yeah,
it's funny.
Here's your sign.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, man, one last thing before we let you run here. Any kind of last bit of advice, or here, let's even go this route. You're talking about having a 1-year and a 5-year plan, maybe 2-part. When you set up those plans in the past, have you achieved what you wanted to achieve when you set those? And from here now, if we take a look, someone might look at your career and say, what really is there to do next? What is that 5-year plan for you?
I think every angler wants to win AOY, and this happens in it happens in like a progression. So at first you want to win a tournament, and then you want to win 2, and then you want to win a red crest, and then so now I have never won an AOY. I think I've made some goofy decisions on the water, and now I'm maturing as an angler, and that's something that's on my radar. I really want to do that, and maybe down the road, I don't know, win a Bassmaster Classic here or there, but to be honest, my goal, I live my goal every day is fishing for a living. I do. And I have to pinch myself. I don't say that cliche, but Me being able to do what I do, that's my goal. I want to be here as long as I can, have longevity. But yeah, set goals. That's my whole thing. Set you a goal, stick to that. And you can do a lot of things if you just are motivated and commit. You got to go all in on something you love.
That's awesome. Great advice there from Dustin Connell, professional angler, Rapala Crush City Pro, partner with Bass Pro Shops, Triton, just to name a few of his major supporters and sponsors out there as he fishes professionally. Just won MLF Redcrest, as we've talked about. Dustin, thanks for talking to us here today, man. Good luck the rest of the season, and we'll be looking for you out there and hope a lot of success for you down the road.
Absolutely. It was an honor hopping on a 200th podcast.
Yes.
That's freaking awesome. And I appreciate you again. And hopefully we talk again soon. Thank you, Kyle.
Welcome to Minnow King. How can I help you?
Everything looks good. I'm friggin' starving, man. Been spawning all morning.
Ugh, TMI, bro. What do you want?
I'll take a Crush City freeloader and gizzard shad.
Anything to drink.
Water.
Pull ahead, please. Welcome to Minnow King.
We're gonna have what he's had.
Yeah, throw me in a Ned BLT, too.
Pull ahead, please.
Calm down. Quit feeding him so much.
Hey, man, I'm trying to, man. If you
If you overfeed him, he's gonna hide under a log.